So we're going to talk about a band that didn't just, write songs. No, they completely rewired what a guitar could do, what a melody could be, and honestly, what music could even feel like. This is the story of My Bloody Valentine, the architects of a sound nobody had ever heard before. Like a velvet tsunami. I mean, how perfect is that quote? Think about it. A tsunami is this overwhelming, unstoppable force, right? But velvet, that's soft, it's beautiful. That's their sound in a nutshell, something that can be incredibly powerful and delicate, all at the exact same time. It's a sound you feel in your chest as much as you hear with your ears. So yeah, to really get this band, we've got to start with that sound. People love to call it a wall of noise, and sure, it can be, but it is so much more than just that. It's this beautiful, carefully built masterpiece of contradictions. And it all comes down to this idea of tension. Most bands have to pick a lane. Are we going to be loud? Or are we going to be soft? My Bloody Valentine just looked at that and said, why not both? And this blend of absolutely crushing guitars with these sweet, angelic vocals buried deep inside, well, it created something entirely new. You can hear their DNA in everyone from Radiohead to M83. But a sound that revolutionary doesn't just appear out of nowhere. Their origin story is actually pretty chaotic. It's this long journey of just searching. Moving from Dublin to Berlin and then to London, all just trying to find a place where their wild ideas could actually work. So get this, their story literally kicks off at a karate tournament. You can't make this stuff up. From there, it's just a whirlwind. They start up in Dublin, but the scene there just doesn't get them. They wander around Europe and finally land in London. And you can see all the lineup changes, right? But pay attention to that last one, 1987. Bilinda Butcher joins the band. And that changed everything. This is it. This is the eureka moment. All that searching and struggling finally pays off. They've got the right people in the room, and through a mix of new energy and a bit of a happy accident, they finally stumble upon the sound that would define them, and a whole genre to go with it. Before Bilinda, the band's vocals were much more aggressive, kind of gothic. But her voice, it was just totally ethereal, almost a whisper. She was the missing piece of the puzzle. When they layered her vocals with Kevin Shields's, something incredible happened. It didn't sound like a male singer and a female singer. It just became this one single, dreamlike voice that just floats inside that storm of guitar. So you've got this wild new sound. What do you even call it? Well, the name shoegaze actually started as a joke. The music press was making fun of bands like them because they didn't really move on stage. They just stood there, staring down at their massive pedal boards, gazing at their shoes. But the name stuck. And what started as an insult quickly became a badge of honor. So how in the world did they make a guitar sound like that? Well, it's a technique they pioneered called glide guitar. So you start with a specific kind of guitar, like a jazz master. Then you're constantly messing with the whammy bar while you strum your chords. But here's the secret weapon. You add a reverse reverb effect. Now, think about that. Normal reverb is an echo after a sound. Reverse reverb is an echo that builds up before you even hit the note. The result is this warped, melting, otherworldly sound that feels like it's bending time. Okay, so they've invented their own musical language. Now what? Well, now they have to create their masterpiece. And the story behind their 1991 album, Loveless, became a legend in its own right. It's this epic tale of obsession, perfectionism, and, well, a whole lot of money. Just take a second to process those numbers. 2 years, 19 different studios. Kevin Shields had this very specific sound in his head, and he was just absolutely relentless in trying to capture it. He burned through engineers, he drained the budget. This wasn't just recording an album, it was more like an obsessive, epic quest. And this is the number that became the legend. £250,000. You have to remember, this is the early 90s. For a small independent label, that was an absolutely astronomical amount of money. It basically cemented the album's reputation as this work of borderline insane artistic genius before anyone had even heard it. But here's where the story gets a little messy. Shields himself has kind of pushed back on that number. He says the true cost was actually lower, and that a lot of that money was just for living expenses over 3 years, not just studio time. He thinks the label boss might have exaggerated the story for the press. But whether it was myth or reality, the legend of the album that nearly bankrupted its label became part of the music itself. And the innovation wasn't just about spending money. Shields basically treated the recording studio as another instrument. Their drummer was sick for a lot of the recording, so he just sampled individual drum hits and programmed the beats himself, piece by piece. He layered vocals over and over to create this ghostly, natural chorus. He just threw the production rulebook out the window. It was pure sonic alchemy. So, after you create a masterpiece that defines a genre, what do you do next? Well, for My Bloody Valentine, the answer was pretty much nothing for 22 years. But the craziest part is, in their absence, their influence just got bigger and bigger, setting the stage for one of the most unexpected comebacks ever. They landed a huge record deal, built a home studio, and then just silence. It wasn't that Shields stopped working. He was apparently obsessed with the new sounds of jungle and drum and bass. But his famous perfectionism took over, and he reportedly just scrapped tons of material. The band drifted apart, and the silence just stretched on, from years into decades. And yet, while they were gone, their sound was absolutely everywhere. I mean, this table just scratches the surface. From huge alt-rock bands like the Smashing Pumpkins, to post-rock pioneers like Mogwai, to modern dream pop artists like Beach House. Their DNA is just embedded in so much music. They even helped inspire a whole genre called black gaze, which is exactly what it sounds like. Their influence is undeniable. Then, in 2013, the impossible happened. With almost zero warning, they just dropped a brand new album, MBV. And it was incredible. It picked up right where Loveless left off, but you could also hear all those newer electronic ideas he'd been working on. It was a massive critical success, and now they're back again, touring the world and proving that their velvet tsunami of sound is just as powerful as ever. At the end of the day, My Bloody Valentine has never been a band that follows trends. They're a band that creates them. After breaking a 22-year silence, they've promised that even more new music is on the way. So that really just leaves us with the big question. For a band that has already changed music once, what new language are they going to invent for us this time?